Everyone knows them. Probably most people love them. They're known as Blue Team. You all know them from the games. We're going to talk a little bit more about them and give you a rundown on the very quick overview of who Blue Team are, what they've done, why they're famous. If you haven't seen already, we do have a video for Red Team. You can find that up here in the corner. And let's get started. Relax back. I've got this. We'll take it from here. So who are Blue Team? Well, Blue Team is a combat unit within the Spartan division. They're part of the UNSC's Naval Special Warfare Command, or NavSpec War, and it's a semi-stable group consisting of, at the moment, 4 members. It's been led by John 117 for much of its combat activities during the Human Covenant War. Though after John's disappearance at New Mombasa, the role of leader was taken up by Frederick 104. Now, Spartan 3 personnel were absorbed into the team during the Battle of Onyx. If you don't know about that, you should really check out the novel. But let's roll it right back to the beginning first of all. So let's talk a little bit about training. So prior to the Human Covenant War, the Spartan 2s were deployed onto the battlefield pretty much as shock infantry. Blue Team often exercised versus fellow Spartan 2 Green Team, which was led by Kurt 051, and actually they often lost because of Kurt's superior 6th sense. Blue Team was formed around John 117, Kelly 087 and Sam 034, who met on their first day of induction into the Spartan 2 program. Now, Blue Team were made famous during Operation Talon. This was the first UNSC military operation where Spartan 2s were put to the test after their intensive training. Now, Blue Team was sent to infiltrate the rebel space station Eridanus Secundus in the Eridanus asteroid belt. Blue Team stowed aboard a freighter called the Leyden and managed to sneak aboard the Jefferson. Their objective was to capture the rebel ex-colonel leader Robert Watts, who is a UNSC turncoat, a traitor for lack of a better term. Now, with minimal attention, Blue Team managed to kill several of his guards and subdue him with a sedative. When they did hijack a Pelican dropship to get him out, Sam 034 set and detonated explosive charges in the rebel base's hangar to basically help them escape, but at the cost of dozens of civilian lives. Blue Team was considered successful in their objective. During the Battle of Reach, the Spartan company was divided into 2 teams, Red and Blue. Blue was tasked with defending an orbital space station's navigational data, which could possibly lead the Covenant to Earth, so you can see why it was important. That would be devastating to the UNSC. Red Team, which was a far larger group than Blue Team, was sent down to the planet's surface on Reach to defend the power generators that powered the orbital defense platforms. Now, Blue Team consisted of Spartan 117, Spartan 005 and Spartan 058. So Blue 1, Blue 2 and Blue 3. Blue Team departed from the Pillar of Autumn in a Pelican dropship and crash-landed on the space station shortly before waves of Rangers and Elites had landed. On manoeuvres, Blue 2 was shot with a needler round that penetrated the propellant module on the back of his armour and allowed him to manoeuvre in 0G. The thruster managed to blow him all over the place, and Blue 2 was blown into space, unable to control his trajectory. However, Blue 1, John, and Blue 3, Linda, were able to infiltrate the lockdown space station, and with the help of Sergeant Johnson, who you may know, along with several other Marines, they destroyed the nav data so that the Covenant wouldn't be able to find and ultimately destroy Earth. However, during extraction, Blue 3 was shot in the back with an overcharged plasma pistol and fell into a deep coma. Blue 1, John 117, and the Marine fire team survived. Now, as you're probably aware, Halo 5, the game, covers a whole area where basically Blue Team decided to go AWOL. They did loads of other missions which are way too much to talk about in this quick rundown. But John took Blue Team with him when Cortana started to talk to John and said that a reclamation had started. And she pointed John towards the planet Meridian. John then met back with Linda, Kelly and Frederick, told them about Cortana, and while they were walking through the rest of the facility, they discovered a Covenant fleet exiting slip space. And because of this, Blue Team decided not to secure the data, but to instead destroy the Argent Moon, which was the ship that they were on. They then proceeded to fight off a pair of hunters and overload the reactors to the station. Since they couldn't recall their insertion Pelican, they decided to use a UNSC Prowler that was docked on the station. They boarded the Prowler, escaped the exploding station. John then contacted the UNSC Infinity and said that he was going to Meridian because he had a lead on Cortana. Infinity told them not to go, John told them where to go. This ended up with Fireteam Osiris being the team that chased after Blue Team because they were absent without leave, or AWOL. I think you all know how the story goes. If you haven't, play Halo 5. As much as people say it's a bad game, actually, if you look at the overarching story of Halo and the way it fits in, it was actually not too bad. It was just poorly executed. But give them where they're due, it does add to the story. It's worth playing at least once. Now, after its conception in 2519, Blue Team usually consisted of 3 to 5 members on average. Now, the unit's roster frequently changed for various combat operations, both members and size. The team was originally comprised of John, Frederick, Linda, Samuel, and Kelly. After Sam's death on the Battle of Chi-Seti in 2025, his spot remained vacant until John reluctantly filled it with Kurt in 2531. 2552 would see the team change considerably in a very short period of time. Between July and December, several Spartans would die and a few Spartan 3s would join in. And during the Battle of Earth, Blue Team was reformed from the surviving Spartans on Earth, with the new roster being Fred, Linda, and William. During the events on and inside Onyx, if you haven't read the book, do so. The team lost William and increased in numbers, with Kelly rejoining them, as well as Lucy, Tom, Ash, Mark, and Olivia joining the team. These were Spartan 3s. This group of Spartans would continue to work together through to the Battle of Gao. I hope you enjoyed that quick rundown. What we're going to be doing is doing a breakdown on each of the characters, so now you know a little bit about Red Team. As I mentioned, if you do want to read about Red Team, or listen to Red Team I should say, link is in the description up above. Otherwise, we're going to break down each of the members, both in Red Team, both in Blue Team, and I'll bring them to you in other videos. Until next time, thank you for joining me. Hit that subscribe button if you like. Leave a comment down below. Tell me who your favourite member of Blue Team is. Until then, happy gaming.